Welcome back, crackheads, to another episode of Crackin' Cans Cast. Last episode, we introduced dolls, and we talked about Robert the doll. But don't call him by that B word, because you might be writing him a letter.
And this week, we're going to be diving into Annabelle and a couple of her friends, along with how dolls have affected movies and pop culture. So tune in this week for part 2 of the Phantom Playmates, Haunted Dolls.
Hey, crackheads. Back for another episode of Crackin' Cans Cast. I know you heard it in the intro. We're doing dolls again.
Again, two-parter. This is back-to-back two-parters.
Yeah.
Oh, champ.
2 in a row.
2 in a row. So yeah, I'm excited because this episode we get to dive into the Annabelle doll, which I think is the Conjuring universe kind of made that one the most popular haunted doll, I would say.
Which I'm excited for this because I never saw the movie Annabelle. I've always wanted to see it, just never.
Yeah, you're not missing
never
anything.
Got a chance.
That is not a very good movie. Now the second movie, I think that one's like Annabelle Origins. That was a pretty good movie, but it's one of those things where it's has absolutely nothing to do with the actual Annabelle. Like they just totally just made this whole story up. And it's better. So go figure.
Yeah, but like I'm pretty pumped just to hear what you got to say about this because like I said, I don't know anything. I mean, I know what she looks like based off the movies, but
yeah, she looks nothing like that.
But I know that's not what she actually looks like, so.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. So got a couple other dolls up. So yeah, it'll be fun. I'm presenting 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Craziness.
I know.
Craziness.
I'm just here for the beer and
to
ride this roller coaster.
Yeah. And a roller coaster it will be, I'm sure, if I'm presenting.
Just like this past weekend, it was a little bit of a roller coaster.
It was, yeah. We had a cornhole tournament.
And I was the DD, so.
Yeah, and I was whatever the opposite of the DD was because I had.
Well, you were the DD too. You were the designated drinker.
Yeah, and I took that to heart.
You did.
So that was like 2 days ago. We're recording. It's Tuesday. I kind of just did not even want to have beer tonight because I just thought of the amount that may or may not have been consumed by me on Sunday.
It still might be in your system from Sunday.
Yeah. And I paid for it. I paid for it Monday morning at 5 a.m. when the alarm clock went off for work. Yeah, I paid for it.
But it was a good time.
It was.
I enjoyed it.
And the biggest thing is I won the cornhole tournament. If you don't know what cornhole is, it's like I don't know, you got the boards with the hole in it. You throw the bean bags at them.
Bean bags is what it used to be called for the longest time. I don't know when cornhole became like the name it goes by, but.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will probably be offended here soon and we'll have to change it to some other Bagorama or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good time though. Played some shuffleboard then.
Yep.
Bug bash.
Bug bash. Threw a couple darts.
Yeah. That's about it. I drank a couple beers. And yeah, that's about it. And speaking of beers, we got one here today. Well, you don't. Why? We just opened it.
It's tradition. It's tradition. I have to drink. I can't even say 3/4 because I think it's more than that, but.
Yeah, I'd say so. But.
I drink like 7/8.
It's your house. Nobody's going to judge you.
Yeah, except for my wife, but she's not here tonight. So.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
We're going to see how many we can put in Corey.
Beers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Beers.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
So, tonight, and I think we had one Trogue so far. It was the Dreamweaver.
Yeah,
that
the Dreamweaver.
Hatman.
Yeah.
So this is our second Trogues beer in the cast.
And Trogues it's yummy stuff. It's real good stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing in Pennsylvania right now touching Trogues.
I don't think so.
I mean, like, my personal opinion, like, Trogues is, and I'm sure you're the same as far as Pennsylvania goes. Like, Trogues is above everything else. Like, my opinion, I think that New Trail is close to second. I don't think they're ever going to touch Trogs, but my personal opinion, I think New Trail has been putting out some really good brews over the last couple years.
Yeah, I don't even know what I would have as my number 2. Because I definitely have Trogs as number 1.
Probably just a bunch of others as number 2.
Yeah.
Like Rusty Rail's got some good ones.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. There's just so many beers out there anymore.
Yeah.
Like every time I go in there, I see new stuff at the beer store. It's like you can't even keep track of it all.
It's like a kid in a candy store, which kind of relates to this beer that we got tonight called Lollihop.
Oh, I see what you did there.
You like that?
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Kid in a beer store.
Yeah. Lollihop.
Or a full-grown bearded man in a beer store.
In a lingerie store.
Getting some Lollihop.
That's right.
So I'm not gonna talk about like Trogs history and stuff. We already did that. You can go back to Hatman episode. So let's just talk about the Lollihop Double IPA. So this is off their site. When we make our annual pilgrimage.
Oh, this is right on the can too, I think.
Is it? Well,
yeah.
I'm reading off their site. You can follow along on the can if you want.
I will. That's what I'll do right now.
So when we make our annual pilgrimage to the hop-growing hotbed of Yakima Valley, we're like kids in a candy store. We eyeball the hops on the binds, crush them in our hands, and rub them till their oils fill the air. Lollihop brings together 3 of our favorites, dry hopping with citra and mosaic layers in notes of orange, grapefruit, and melon, while Hazaka? I don't know how you say that one. Azacca?
Oh, yeah. Zaka, I guess, yeah.
In the kettle, adds hints of papaya and pineapple. Locally harvested rustic pale malt provides the backbone, and wheat and oats make this beer silky smooth with a touch of haze. And it is 8.2% alcohol, and it's available year-round.
No, is it really? I didn't know it was available.
I didn't know either. I thought it was just like summer.
That's what I thought. And this is kind of one of your favorites, isn't it?
It is, and actually, like, it just got to, like, the top of my favorites list, like, recently, because, I mean, I just had it probably with the first time in the last, 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, I like it. It's just, I don't know, it has, well, I guess it's that Azaka gives it that, like, papaya and pineapple hint a little bit, which just, it's not my hop of choice.
Not your pint of beer.
Not my pint. Well, it is my pint of beer because I'm going to drink it.
True. You're not your hop in beer.
Yeah, it's not my hop choice. So we'll take. Well, do you have any left to take your?
I left a sip for.
Let's cheers.
For the cheers.
It sounded pretty hollow.
Yeah, we need a new one over here.
But yeah, it's good. I feel like it's light for being 8.2.
Yeah.
Which is scary. I know this is what probably got me in trouble when I went to the cornhole is I drank one of these before I ever left the house. I had my cheeseburger and my lollipop. And that just started the day of just pandemonium.
And then it led to Miller Lights, and then you were like a poor man on the side corner asking people for beers.
I was. Next time I invited myself to when they make crab legs.
Yeah, when my family and my wife's family had crab legs. You got claimed by one of the sides.
Yeah. So how'd it go? Like one of the they were trying to figure out who has to claim Corey, which family has to claim him, and they kind of got done bickering about that. And I asked who's claiming me. You know, yeah. I'm here too.
And then you got claimed.
I got claimed.
Like you're
and I'm not even sure who did it, but apparently I'm claimed.
You're claimed.
Yeah. So we're good to go. Yeah.
Should we tie this into the topic?
I guess we could do that. That is typically that's kind of the point, right?
You want to tie it in? What do you got? How do you relate this one to? Well,
I just think of it. Just think of the innocence of a lollipop. I think of the innocence of a lollipop and just the innocence of a child, and that's where a lot of these dolls just do their evil with the child.
Yeah, I agree.
Except for Annabelle. She just goes after like full-grown adults.
Interesting.
Yeah. So how do you want to tie it in?
I mean, I was just gonna tie it in the same way with the lollipops
Yeah.
and the kids, and I mean, lollihops, adults.
Yeah. And when we started this like cast, my brain thought it was going to be super easy to just find a beer that matched our topic.
You got to use a little brain power and a little like search and
destroy.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna
seek and destroy.
Search and destroy. Defend the objective.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot easier because when you go online, you can find a beer by pretty much any name you ever want. Now, whether your area can ever get that beer in, like we're not a state where we can just ship beer into our house. I don't know how other states work, but we have to go to, well, now we have it in the grocery stores, but up until that, you pretty much had to go to the distributor. You're buying a whole case of it, and that's what you got. Whether it sucked or whether it was good, you're buying a whole case of it, and you were dealing with it.
And that only changed within the last, 10 years, probably 8 years.
Yeah.
Because I know I was still in college working at the beer distributor, and that's when it started changing, where the grocery stores, the gas stations in Pennsylvania started selling beer.
Yeah. Which was kind of...
But you got a nice hookup, so...
I do. I may or may not have an inn that owns a beer distributor, so we'll leave it at that. I don't want... You tell people that, the ladies just... They get after me when they know I have a hookup for beer.
My father-in-law he's kind of after you over the weekend playing cornhole. He kept bringing it up, and I kept saying, "Well, my father-in-law, he's a beer distributor too because he distributes it to me. He distributes it to my brother-in-law. So he's a distributor too."
He was doing it to me on Sunday.
Yeah, he was filling up your cooler.
Yeah, I only remember your stepdad telling me he needed me to thread his needle, and it made me super uncomfortable. So. So we'll leave that.
I think you said you'd thread his needle too, though.
Well,
give or take.
Yeah, so much you're gonna get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, with that, are you ready to dive in to Annabelle?
I'm ready to dive in face first.
Is that dirty?
If that's how you make it, yeah.
All right, I made it dirty. All right, so I guess the best place to start with the Annabelle doll. So when you think of the Annabelle doll, what do you think of?
I think of the movie.
Yeah, the movie, porcelain figure with just an absolutely hideous and horrible looking doll, pretty much, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so the original Annabelle, the Annabelle is actually a Raggedy Ann doll. So it is just a rag doll, red hair, black dots for an eyes and a nose. It is not scary at all. I think they said it stands 3 foot tall, so it's a bigger doll. It's actually the size of a child.
Yeah.
But
that's pretty big. Huh?
Yeah. So that's kind of the best way to preface it, because they really think when you start to dive into a lot of the stuff that the whole Conjuring universe did, they really took liberties and just, it's the entertainment world. It's not about giving the whole story. It's about
making money.
That's all it's about. The story begins in the 1970s, and this was with a young nursing student named Donna received the doll as a birthday gift from her mom, which I don't understand at all. This woman is in college getting her nursing.
Yeah.
She's graduating nursing school. What would you give your wife who's graduating nursing school? A Raggedy Ann doll, probably?
Yeah, I might.
Yeah.
I'd probably. I don't know what I'd give her.
Oh, I know what you'd give her. Oh, hey. Let's keep this PG, my friend. Goodness gracious. Anyways, so Donna lived in a small apartment.
My wife did graduate from nursing school.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Goodness. We try and... we're not necessarily PG, but my gosh, Corey.
I know. I'm always...
just making me all uncomfortable all the time.
All right, go ahead.
So Donna lived in a small apartment with her roommate, Ange. Initially, the doll seemed totally harmless. Why? Because it was just a doll.
So I just want to make sure I got this straight. So Donna is the nursing student?
So Donna's the nursing student that received it.
The doll.
Ange is also a nursing student.
So she's
They're
living
just
with Ange, who's her roommate. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
So they're both just getting ready to graduate nursing school together. not long after that, the two women soon noticed that Annabelle seemed to move on her own. They would leave her on the bed or on the couch, and later they would find her in a different position or even in different rooms. Red flag going up right there. Big red flag. Just saying. What if the Undertaker action figure starts in your room and ends up like down here on this table? I mean, he's welcome.
Yeah, he's welcome.
Yeah.
But, if that Moana we got up there, she starts moving around during this cast, and like we look up and she's hanging from the left side.
Yeah, it's her hair, man. It freaks me out.
So you guys keep an eye on that Moana doll, okay?
Yeah. And Big Eddie right here with his head
that's
backwards.
Eddie.
Yeah. So things escalated when they began finding handwritten notes around their apartment, written on parchment paper. What made it so weird is these notes were written like on parchment paper. They had no parchment paper in their apartment.
And can you even write on parchment paper? You
Apparently.
ever use that stuff? Like
Yeah.
that stuff is like
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah, I don't understand. So
you'd have to carve a letter in parchment paper.
So the notes were almost childlike, where they would say, "Help me" or "Help us." And at this point, they were kind of wondering if somebody was breaking into their apartment and leaving these things. So they were like double checking all the locks on their window. They were actually having, I believe it was Donna's fiance was coming over to check things out. It was freaking everybody out. Like, paper is just appearing that isn't even in this house. Like, I don't know where this old Raggedy Ann's pulling these things out of.
So this just kind of, don't mean to throw us off topic, but this just kind of brought up the question in my mind, like and I've seen this come up before, like on social media and stuff, like if you broke into somebody's house, like what's one thing that you would do to just inconvenience them? So like, for example, maybe it's like steal the remote.
Yeah.
Like what's like, what do you think?
I would go, I'd take the chain off of the handle on all the toilets in their house. So when they went to flush, nothing there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, like, what would be the most inconvenience to
I'd poop in the middle of their floor.
Steal all the toilet paper?
No, just poop. I guess toilet paper would be a good idea too.
Yeah, but anyway.
I'd flatten their tires with an old knife. That'll show them.
Yeah, but like, what's something that's just like very like just subtle? Like, I mean, flattening the tires. That's pretty.
That's not. Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah. I'd probably write them notes in parchment paper and put them all around the house. Well, you could move their doll around though. Think how freaky it would be if like somebody broke into your house and all they did was just take your doll from one room and move it to the next.
Yeah.
It would freak me out.
Or just like,
I'm also not observant enough to probably notice.
Just rearrange their living room.
Yeah.
Moved all the furniture around.
Just turn their TV backwards. So one day they found Annabelle with what looked like blood or some other red liquid on her hands and chest. Disturbed by these events, guess who they contacted? If you remember in episode 1, I talked about who is the last person you should contact when something like this is going on. They contacted a medium to come help them.
That's right. I had to think. I think I drank too much beer during the first one, so I couldn't really remember.
It's all right. We'll get you there this time. Once we get it, you ever see the movie Beer Fest?
Yes.
Yeah, where they can't remember how to get in, so they just get the guy super drunk. Yole, 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 hoo, yole, yole, hoo. Yeah, that's what we're going to get you like that. You're going to remember every part of Robert because his name is Robert. So they invited a medium over to their house, and during the session, the medium told them that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a young girl named Annabelle Higgins, who had died in the area. They said the spirit claimed to have died in a field, and then this apartment complex was built on the field she had died on. The spirit told the medium that she felt comfortable with Donna and Ange and wanted to stay with them. Feeling sympathy for the spirit, this is just the worst.
Are you saying the medium wanted to stay with them?
No, the medium is talking for the little girl, and the little girl said she wants to stay with them through the doll. So because of the advice they received through this medium, the women gave their permission for Annabelle to inhabit the doll and remain with them. So when you get into these spirits and these demons, like, they need permission to enter your life. That is like a big thing that you get in all these stories. Like, they need some kind of permission to get into your life.
And that kind of goes, I'm not going to get into too much of it because I know you don't want to know, but as far as the next topic that I'm doing, the black-eyed kids, black-eyed children, that's a big piece of that topic as well.
Yeah. You start diving into a lot of these topics, a lot of paranormal type activity and stuff, all has to do with needing an invitation. It's like the vampire in the movies. Like, they can't enter your house without being invited into your house. So, however, the paranormal activity worsened and Annabelle's behavior became increasingly sinister. A friend of Donna and Ange named Lou, and I can't remember, I'm pretty sure that he is the fiance of one of these two, but I'm pretty sure it's Donna. I can't totally remember.
So we got a guy. We got a
guy named Lou.
Lou.
And basically, Lou just, like,
loses it.
He catches all kind of hell from this doll.
Okay.
So when she would write on the parchment paper,
he would write back.
He would write back. No, sometimes on the parchment paper, she would just write, "Help Lou." Like, there was some kind of attachment this doll, this little girl, demon had.
I was waiting for it.
Had with Lou. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it needed a male compared to a female or what, but it did not like Lou, and it just seemed to always do the activity worsened when Lou was around. And usually the activity was very negative whenever Lou was around. So he had several terrifying encounters with the doll. So he had this one instance where he woke up in the middle of the night with total, like, sleep paralysis. And he looked down at the end of the bed, and the Raggedy Ann doll was just standing there looking at him.
Just, like, standing on the end of the bed?
Standing on the end. And this is a rag doll. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, these dolls can't stand. There's nothing in them but stuffing. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're really, like, flimsy and stuff. Like,
so this doll is just standing at the end of the bed, and as he's staring at it, it just glides up his body, comes up to his chest, and looks him in the face. And at that time, he can't breathe. He just feels this weight on his chest, like somebody is strangling him right now. And finally, he just, like, snaps and wakes up out of it, like this horrible sleep paralysis nightmare. Didn't know what it was.
Did he grab a hold of that doll and give her the old
He never could. When he woke up, the doll was gone.
You know why? Because our boy Hatman showed up. He grabbed that doll and took her, I don't know, back to the other room.
That freaking Hatman, he does dirty things to dolls.
He might.
That's why he comes.
He brought her over to the shadow world.
The shadow world. Oh, yeah. For a nice little honeymoon. So another time, Lou had heard a noise from Donna's room. Right before that, he had picked up the Annabelle doll, and he just got sick of her and just threw her across from what she was, like, in the living room. He picked her up and just threw her into Donna's room and slammed the door shut. So he heard this noise, like something running around Donna's room. So he opened up the door and looked, and he walked in, and he didn't see or hear anything, right? All of a sudden, he felt something behind him, and he just felt something just scratch these 7 scratches right down his back. And these scratches, like, instantly bloodied up, blood through his shirt and everything. But the weird thing about it was, within, like, a day and a half, these scratches were totally disappeared. Just totally gone.
So was the doll in the room with him when these scratches occurred? Or he just
it was in the room.
Yeah.
It wasn't moving.
Because didn't you say he threw the doll into her room, shut the door, and then he felt the scratches?
No, he threw the doll in the room, shut the door, and he heard running around in the room. So he opened up the door to go in and investigate and that's when he got scratched in the back.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, just super weird. At this point is where the legendary Warrens, who is with the Conjuring universe, is just built upon. This is where they showed up. And I remember telling you last week about kind of the end of this story a little bit. I don't think we were even recording about it, but it's like, out of every Warren story I looked up a lot of stuff on the Warrens because I eventually want to do, like, a whole episode on kind of their history. And out of everything I saw, this part at the end of this is just my absolute favorite. But anyways, so, and if you don't know what the Warrens look like, Google them, because they do not look like the people in The Conjuring. Like, they pick some beautiful people for The Conjuring. Ed,
I don't think I ever saw what they actually look. Are they like some rustic looking like?
Ed is just like a big fat Italian. He looks like a mobster with his hair slicked back, and he kind of got the. I don't even know. You just have to like listen to an interview with him talking, because he kind of talks like he's from New York, but he's not. He's from like Connecticut. He just sounds like he's gonna die. Like he's just out of breath.
Like he smoked too many cigarettes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
ate too many pork chops.
Yeah. Too many pork chops. I like that. Yeah, like the dude looks rough, and his wife she's just not too pretty on the eyes either. But anyways, that's not my point of this.
She got
story.
hit with the ugly sick too many times too.
Well, she did. She's got, like, when you look at her, like, she is a sniper's dream. Her
Big
forehead is a huge, man.
Like Peyton Manning style.
Yeah,
forehead.
dude. Like, if I was a sniper, it's like, I hope she is my target, because I will not miss.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what they look like, so I'm envisioning them now in my head, and I got the perfect picture.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure whatever your picture is, you probably have them prettier than they actually look. So the Warrens arrived, and yeah, I don't really want to dive too much into the Warrens now, because it definitely is like a whole episodes and stuff, but they, Ed is a self-proclaimed demonologist. There's no university in the world to become a demonologist. Maybe there is now. I don't know. But back then, like, he's just self-proclaimed. One of the cool things with Ed is Ed's actually one of the only people, and I think at this time he was the only person that was a non-priest that was given permission from the Catholic Church to perform exorcism.
He was the first.
Like, he's the first, and he
Or,
might
like,
be the only. Yeah, that wasn't, like, a priest.
Huh.
So, or that's what he claims. A lot of the stuff is hard because it's their claim versus nobody's claim,
Yeah.
So you don't really know. But realizing the situation was out of control, Donna and Ange contacted a priest, who in turn reached out to Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous paranormal investigators. The Warrens concluded that the doll was not inhabited by the spirit of a young girl, but by a demonic entity that pretended to be an innocent spirit to gain the woman's trust.
So it was a demon who pretended to be a spirit of a little girl.
The demon tricked this medium into thinking that it was a little girl in order to gain access to our world.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some deep stuff right there.
It's not that deep. Don't give any spirits permission to live in your house. Folks, don't give people permission for a spirit to live in your house.
So they gave it permission, right?
They gave it permission. They gave this little girl permission to enter their apartment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care like what kind of entity we're talking about here. Like it ain't getting permission.
No. And they said once it gained permission and once they actually started treating it like a little girl,
it probably got more powerful.
It got much more powerful, exactly. So, and that was one of the things that when the Warrens got there, and I'll dive into this in a second, like this thing was strong when they got there. Like it was ready to do whatever it was going to do.
Like lift up that big old Andre the Giant and body slam him in the middle of the ring.
Probably lift up and steal a couple pork chops from old Ed Warren when he got there. They
ain't stealing any because he already ate them.
Yeah, you're freaking right.
Yeah, they gone.
So the Warrens believe the entity's ultimate goal was to possess one of the women, not just the doll. So they performed an exorcism on the apartment to cleanse it of the spirit, and they took Annabelle with them. So here's where we're diving into my favorite part. So Ed and Lorraine packed up this doll, put it in the back seat of their car, and they're taking it home, right?
I picture them having like a car seat, buckling it in, strapping
I bet
in.
he wasn't far off with the way this dude was. So on their ride back, Ed wouldn't take any major highways because this spirit was too strong. He did not know what it was going to do. So as they're going back on which I don't know what are you better off on, these backcountry roads or on a highway?
I mean, because like in my mind, I'm like, all right, if you're not sure what this thing's gonna do, like the last thing I want to do is drive off in the middle of nowhere where I have well, I guess they didn't have cell phones because when was this, 70s?
Yeah, the 70s.
Yeah, so forget that. But like nobody's around. Where at least if you're on a highway, you got some cars that are going to be
Yeah.
driving past if like this thing decides to put a something over your head and like jerk you into the side of the.
Yeah, but you also have Mack trucks that it could just steer you over. So I don't know. I really don't know what's your best helicopter. I guess probably. If I had to guess, nothing bad ever happens in a helicopter.
Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant.
I was just gonna say that, dude. I was just gonna say R.I.P. Man, we miss you, Kobe. Anyways, so on this ride home, they're taking all these back roads. And as Ed's taking the turns, his brakes are going out and his power steering's going out, right? So I just picture like Lorraine over there like, Ed, the demon's too strong, And this is my favorite part. All Ed knows how to, he just grabs some holy water and just starts throwing it over his shoulder onto Annabelle. And I just picture like, the power of Christ compels you as he's
with his big fat pork chop.
And his face is just turning purple from this thing like, get me the hell home.
I need a pork chop.
I gotta get home. So I just freaking lose it whenever I just picture him just whipping holy water over it. So he said eventually he pulled off and he just doused this thing in holy water, just dumped it all over this thing until he was able to get it home. They ended up getting it home safe. And for a while he kept it in his office, on a little spot next to his desk. He said within a couple of days of being home, he just walked in and Annabelle was just floating there in midair. And then it just gently just came back and sat down. And like the way Ed says the story is just like, oh yeah, bud, I walked in there and there that thing was just a floating, So I know it's like, oh boy, this baby's still strong. It's like, it's just so casual. It's the way he talks about it. So now the doll resides in the Warrens Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, where it is kept in a special glass case. The case bears a sign and reads, "Warning, positively, do not open." And you can go onto YouTube. So I guess they have to bless this case every so often. It is a process when they bless. So it's like guys have to have gloves on because you can't actually handle this doll with your bare skin. So they wear gloves drenched in holy water and they pull it out and they say the Lord's Prayer for it, Our Father who art in heaven. So they go through this whole thing and they bring it over here and they set it in this temporary box and they just rub the whole box down with holy water. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. Have you guys met Ed? This is the dude you're believing? This is it. There's just so many crazy stories. Like so they had this whole museum full of all these, I guess, haunted things. All kind of random stuff. Like a lot from, you've seen like the second Conjuring movie, like the box that plays, what is that? I can't remember what the guy is, the big, skinny, the Crooked Man, isn't that what he is?
I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I
think he's the Crooked Man, but they claim that they have that there. That's this haunted music box or whatever. But they always said like Annabelle is that, like, that's the strongest thing they have there. So, and they also said that a lot of times, like when Annabelle was like in a room, they would just see a black cat in this room. They didn't have a cat or anything. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it was some kind of symbolism. So there's really like two major things happened when this Annabelle doll was at this museum. One was basically a priest came there. They said whenever the activity would get really high when a priest would call on the phone. It was almost like this demon would act out when a priest would call. So one time they had a priest over. This was a priest that would typically call them. I think he came over from dinner and basically looked at this doll and he said, "You have no power. Like, demon, you have no power in this world." On his way home, he got in this horrific, his brakes quit and he got in this horrific car crash. And he survived, but like barely. Like, it was just a horrific car crash. And there was one other time, and granted, this is...
Well, we can...
Oh, no.
So, we know that this demon is not a little girl, though.
No, this demon is not a little girl.
Because the priest...
Yeah.
Never mind. Just...
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yes. Oh, Corey, why do you make my editing so much more difficult? So there's another story. So the other story, and this is a story that Ed said, was the museum was open to the public. There was a guy and a girl showed up. This guy was trying to impress his girlfriend, and he was tapping on the box and basically just like provoking Annabelle. Like, yeah, you can't do anything. You're just a stupid doll, yada, yada, yada. It got so bad that Ed actually like told him like he has to leave the museum because he's going to get this spirit like all wound up. So they left the museum, driving down the road on his motorcycle. Motorcycle swerved off the road. He hit a pole head on. He was dead. His girlfriend was in critical condition in the hospital. She survived.
Damn.
So that's the only life that Annabelle has supposedly
She makes
claimed.
people wreck.
Yeah.
Well, she makes people wreck their cars
Yeah.
and
That's
vehicles.
really, the moral of this story is if you're going to, like, I have to transport these dolls back home.
You better walk home.
I got my holy water with me.
Okay, all right,
so I'll
then.
just fling it over my shoulder and I'll be fine. What bad could happen then? So that's really the story about the Annabelle doll. The thing is just creepy as hell, though. Super powerful. And then
Where's it at right now? Connecticut.
It's still at Connecticut. So both of the Warrens have passed away, and I think it is like Ed's nephew is in charge. It's been really weird though. You'd have to go on and look on it. But his nephew has just brought this doll to conventions and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's weird. I don't know whether to believe is this doll really haunted, or is he just super careless with this thing? I
Was he
don't
bringing
know.
like a fake doll, like a man, like a
He might. That could, very well could be.
duplicate?
Yeah. I mean, it's a Raggedy Ann doll. How hard would
Yeah.
it be to have,
Yeah.
So that's the end of the Annabelle doll. So I have a couple other dolls that are...
Beer run?
That's what I was going to say. Do you think it's time?
Yeah. It's beer break time. Crack a cold one, fill your cup, and enjoy the rest of the episode. All right, Cracking Cans fans, we're back from our beer run, and we're going to continue with this Dolls episode. We're going to be getting into some of Annabelle's friends.
Yeah, I guess you can call them friends. Yeah. As close as I think a demonic doll can have to friends, I would say.
They're on the same team.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. These two are weird. Especially the second one. The second one's really weird, but we'll get to the first. So the first one is the Okiku doll. I could be butchering that. The Okiku doll. So it's a Japanese doll, and I guess it's probably the most famous as far as like Asian possessed haunted dolls go. So the story goes that a teenage boy was walking down the street and he saw a vendor selling this doll, and this doll reminded him so much of his 2-year-old sister that he just had to get this doll for her. So, and this is around like 1916, 1917. So really, really early turn of the century. So he bought this doll with like basically all the money he had. He bought this doll and he gave it to his sister.
It's 4 quarters.
It's 4 quarters, yeah. Whatever they call it over there in Japan. Yen. They got yen over there.
Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Okay.
I know my foreign currency.
I know pesos, and that's about as far as I go.
So he gave it to his sister, and his sister was just obsessed with it. She took it everywhere. She slept with it. And then if you kind of know back around this time, this is when the Spanish influenza took over the world. So World War I happened, and that had all these troops traveling all over the world. So this Spanish flu just was everywhere. And his sister ended up catching this, and she passed away. So her parents didn't want to bury the doll with her in a grave. They wanted to kind of make like a shrine for her, like a remembrance memorial type thing. So they put the doll in the center of this.
The center of the shrine.
At the center of the shrine, yeah. So it wasn't long before they kind of noticed that this doll's face would move. Just like really subtle movements. But the thing that they thought was the craziest is they would actually have to cut this doll's hair every so often. So you sent me the thing on Facebook today about how they put like doll's hair in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different kind of theories on it. They think like it was a way back. I guess they would actually use human hair a lot of times for dolls back then. You know, girls would just get their hair cut and they would just put it on a doll. So they thought maybe by the way it was put in there that over time the stitching let out, so the hair just like looked like it was getting longer because it was being released. So it made me think of the video you sent, because they use a lot of freaking hair on that doll's head.
Yeah.
But so this doll actually has to get like a haircut every so many years.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like,
so
and nobody was like, "Oh, that's strange." Like that's.
no, everybody thought it was strange.
They still did it.
Yeah, they did it. They don't want to make this thing mad, you know.
Imagine us like with dolls, like beards.
Yeah.
Like our beards. They had to trim our beards every so often.
And our butt hair.
Yeah. Trim the whites out.
But yeah, so and they eventually moved, and when they moved, they had a local priest kind of take over the memorial because they were afraid if they took the doll with them that the spirit, because they assumed it was the spirit of their daughter was in this doll. They're afraid if they took this doll with them, the spirit would leave the doll then because it would have to stay in this area. I guess I don't know, you know. So that's kind of one of the more famous ones. There are some other famous ones, like one is the Lily doll, and that's in Zach Bagans' museum from Ghost Adventures. And it's really funny. You try and look up any kind of information on this doll, and there's just like nothing. So he just claims that this doll is super haunted. Like, it is dangerous to even take pictures of. It moves. It runs around.
But like
at
we
night.
know nothing about it.
Nothing about it. Like, there's no and there might be an episode of Ghost Adventures that I just couldn't find, but I don't know. He claims it runs around at night, and you know, Zach Bagans that's my guy right there.
Yeah.
I love that dude.
Yeah.
There's never been a dude that's been able to pull off 90s, early 2000s fashion the way that man has for the past 25 years.
Yeah, except for Ed Warren.
Ed Warren, no. Ed, man, don't even get me started on Ed. So that's like one of the other famous ones. There's a couple other ones throughout the world of like other dolls that their hair grow and stuff like that, but there's just not that many like really documented cases of haunted dolls. I think so you have Robert, you have Annabelle. Let Me Out doll is kind of like, he has his own Instagram page. Yeah. You know how I know? Because I follow that dude on Instagram. I just started when I saw that.
Where's he live at?
So he lives down under, mate. So this is in Australia. So, you know, like, as soon as you figure out something is haunted in Australia, you know, it's going to be just freaking crazy. Them freaking Australians are nuts, you know?
They're pretty dramatic, I feel like.
Yeah. They're just crazy. You've seen Bluey. You ever have to watch Bluey? Yeah, I know they're crazy on
Crocodile
Bluey.
Hunter.
Yeah. Oh, watch out for this thing, right, buddy?
R.I.P. Another R.I.P.
Yeah. Man, we're really on the R.I.Ps tonight.
Yeah.
So the Let Me Out doll is often referred to simply as Letta. It's an infamous haunted doll with a chilling backstory. The doll, standing about 3 foot tall, is said to be over 200 years old and was discovered by Kerry Walton in Wagga Wagga, Australia in the 1970s. Walton found the doll underneath the floorboards of an abandoned house while he was visiting his hometown after his grandma's funeral.
So this is another one in the 1970s.
Another one in the 1970s. But isn't there what? So I guess, I don't know. It's confusing. Why is he just ripping up these floorboards in this abandoned house looking for this doll? And so I guess from what I kind of read online, like Kerry Walton was a ghost hunter or some sort, like a paranormal investigator. So he was at this house because this house was supposedly haunted. I'm just not sure what possessed him to just start ripping up floorboards. I also read somewhere else that he found it in the crawl space of the house. So I don't know which, you know, you get.
I mean, unless they were like, you know, renovating the floor, putting a new floor in.
Yeah, but he was just there, like, just ghost hunting it up, you know,
just going to town.
Yeah,
on these floorboards.
Yeah, poor guy, or poor floorboards, I guess. I don't know. Intrigued by the doll's eerie appearance and eerie this thing is, dude. I got to pull up a picture of this thing because this.
So this is the doll that was found in the floorboards.
Yeah, this is the Let Me Out doll. That is just
what
scary looking. That thing's like 3 foot tall.
Oh
you know what I mean?
God.
Yeah. That thing freaks me out when I look at
I
it.
think like who that looks like.
I don't know. So I feel like it's some guy named Björn, probably.
Björn.
Yeah, Björn. Tell me it doesn't look like his name should be Björn.
Yeah. Björn.
Björn, yeah.
That works.
But yeah, I mean, that could you imagine lifting up a floorboard and that thing's just staring you in the
I would
face?
put that floorboard right back down.
You're damn right. And I'm going to get as many nails as I can, and I'm nailing that SOB real far down. So intrigued by the doll's eerie appearance, which resembles that of a young boy, Walton decided to take it home with him. And it wasn't
What?
long.
He took it home with him?
Well, of course he did.
Okay.
What else? Yeah, I don't know. It's Australians, man.
I guess.
Oh, yeah, took it home with them. So it wasn't long before strange things started to happen. The doll seemed to move on its own, and those around it reported the feeling of unease. Walton named the doll Let Me Out after hearing the words Let Me Out during a psychic reading he attended with the doll. And I also heard another story, and this is, I don't know if this is true, but I just like this story more, where he called it the Let Me Out doll because when he pulled it out of the floorboards, he put it in a bag, and all it did was just yell the whole way home, "Let me out! Let me out!" So I don't know. That story's funnier.
I like that one better. Yeah, let's go with that one. Let me out.
The psychic also claimed the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a young boy who had drowned in the river hundreds of years ago. Like, it's that theme, you know?
Young girl, young boy.
Young girl, yes. It's just
but how come
theme.
all these haunted dolls are from like the early 1900s or like the 1970s?
It does seem that way, doesn't it? Like there's just no in between. Yeah, because Robert the Doll was the same time as the
Yoka Joka Ho.
Yeah. The Yucca Jucca.
What was its name?
Okiku.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okiku doll.
Okiku.
The Ukajuka. Oh, man. My apologies. Oh, shoot. All right, so back to the Let Me Out doll. Over time, the ball...
Why do you keep saying it like that?
Let Me Out. I don't know. Let Me... What is Let Me Out? That's like... It's like Letta, me out.
Letta?
Yeah, Letta. Let me out. I don't know. I don't know. It seems like how Mario would say it.
Let me out.
Hey, let me out,
It's
please.
Mario.
And in my spaghetti with the meatballs. I don't know. It just seems like it goes. I'm not going to be able to not say it like that. Over time.
Over time.
Hey, listen, over time, the doll became known for its unsettling presence. It's said that Letta's facial expressions change. It can cause objects to move, and it even causes this. You ready? It even causes dogs to bark and become aggressive. It's like, oh dear.
Oh,
you know what? You son of a bitch. You can do anything you want to us, but you leave the puppies out of it. Oh man. Despite these eerie occurrences, Walton continued to keep the doll, believing it to be more of a protective entity rather than an evil one. I'm not sure what that means. And we talked about this when we talked about Robert the Doll, that there's just like these people get such a connection to these things. I don't just let it go, man. Just let it go. What? Maybe it is a protective entity. I don't know. That seems
yeah, because
weird.
none of the other dolls were like, let me out. Like none of the this. Maybe
this
one. This brother just needed like
let me out.
Let me out.
Yeah, there you go.
Like this boy just needed like some fresh air because he was stuffed down in the floorboards.
Yeah, for
just
God
sucking
knows.
in sawdust.
Yeah, probably all kind of asbestos in there.
Yeah, just wanted some fresh air.
Poor bastard.
Yeah, I feel bad for. That's another one I feel bad for. I felt bad for Billy Bob, or what was Robert.
Billy Bob.
Whatever his name was. Robert. I felt bad for him. And then I felt bad for letting me out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Letting me out.
Letting me out.
There you go.
I felt bad for letting me out.
Yeah, there you
as
go.
well. So, like, you're really making me feel bad for these guys.
Well, Annabelle's locked away, too.
I don't feel bad for Annabelle. I don't know.
She killed somebody, supposedly.
Yeah, she can
according
go...
to Ed and his pork chop obsession, you know?
Yeah, she can go rotten hell out there.
It could go either way, you know? Letta Me Out has since gained a reputation as one of the world's most haunted dolls, with many people fascinated by its story and the mysterious happenings surrounding it. The doll has even been featured in various paranormal documentaries and television shows, further cementing its place in the annals of haunted history.
The what?
I don't know.
Did you say anals?
I think it's annals.
Okay. the asses.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that's where haunted history should be, right in the ass, you know?
The anals. All right.
But I guess this Letting Me Out doll's been like all on TV, different talk shows, stuff like that. People have claimed that they've seen it move on TV.
So they have this doll on talk shows. Like this doll was talking on talk shows?
No, it's just there with what's his name?
Zach.
Not Zach. Carrie Walton.
Oh yeah, never mind. All right.
Not Zach. We're done talking about Lily the doll that there's
right,
no info on. Yeah. No, so Carrie would take this thing on because people were obsessed with it.
And just set the doll on his lap.
Yeah, and just set it on the couch next to him. People said they could see it move. I watched a clip where people said they saw it move. I'll be honest with you, Corey. It didn't move. It did not move at all.
What about an eye? Did an eye just...
I saw nothing. I watched it pretty close. I saw nothing on this doll move at all.
Huh. All right, boys and girls, time to move on to some pop culture talk here with these dolls.
Yeah, and I think when I think of haunted dolls, possessed dolls, there is one dude that, as far as the entertainment industry, he takes the cake.
Chucky,
man. That dude's, he's it. So I think I talked about it in the last episode. I watched this dude when I was way too young to be watching him.
I think I watched him pretty young, too, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you find him on Sci-Fi Channel back in the day. They always had Child's Play 2 on all the time. You know, where he's in the big store at the end with all the dolls being produced and stuff. That thing freaked me out. So yeah, as you know, Chucky was a doll possessed by the soul of serial killer Charles Lee Ray. And the Child's Play franchise, which began in 1988, has made Chucky a cultural icon of horror. He is definitely I wouldn't say he might not be on the Mount Rushmore of horror, but he is.
He's up there.
He's top 10. Yeah, I would say.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right now it's like season 3 of the TV shows on TV.
So, all right. Speaking of that, though, Mount Rushmore. Okay, so. Who would your Mount Rushmore be of horror legends? I'll tell you mine. Mine are, I would say Michael Myers.
Yeah, he's got to be on there.
I would say Freddy Krueger.
Krueger's got to be on there.
Jason.
And
the fourth one is the one that's always debated. Me personally, I would say Leatherface, but there's always some
Yeah, Leatherface was a retard though.
He was the first one.
Yeah, he was still a retard though. The family's kind of inbred, and he's definitely not right in the head. I don't know. I always struggle with, if I had to do I think the 3 are easy.
Because I know the other one that I would say put up for too would be Ghostface.
Ghostface is hard because it changes.
I know.
Yeah, Ghostface.
But the Ghostface, just the Scream Ghostface character. Not caring about who was under the mask and stuff. If you just looked at the persona of Ghostface,
yeah,
I don't know.
You could possibly have. So I have another one on this list. I can spoil it real quick in here, but Billy the Puppet from the Saw series. I know he's not really the killer, but he is kind of the embodiment of the killer.
Yeah.
The Saw franchise. That's kind of the most modern day thing we have to. The million movies that were made for Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, all that. And dude, so you're a big Michael Myers fan, so am I.
Yeah.
Did you want to just go punch the? Sorry. Did you? Yeah, that's how, dude. That's how mad I get about this. I'll keep that in there. I'll edit that part out. Did you just want to go punch something in the face when you watched Halloween Ends and how just crappy of a movie that was?
Can I be honest with you? I haven't seen that one yet.
Dude, do yourself a favor
and don't watch it.
Don't ever watch that movie
okay.
ever.
That was the only one I haven't seen.
I was so pumped for that movie to come out. When the day it came out, where we could watch it at home, me and my wife, I worked my whole day around watching that movie. That is
like you were looking forward to like coming home and watching that.
You can ask my wife. I am still furious that I watched that movie.
We haven't watched that one yet.
Don't watch it.
Okay.
I mean, you can if you want. But it's horrible. It's horrible. The real Michael. No, don't even get me started. Anyways, so yeah, we'll move on to number 2. I would say Chucky could be on my Mount Rushmore. I might throw Chucky on that Mount Rushmore.
I don't know if I put him above Ghostface though. It'd be close. It would be close. If I sat down and thought about it, it would.
Like I said, what hurts Ghostface is that it's a different person every time.
Yeah.
Or different people every time.
Yeah.
Like if it was just Billy every time, then maybe yeah. But
yeah.
Chucky, that's Charles Lee Ray every time. Just kicking ass, taking names.
You also got Pinhead too, who's one that a lot.
I never got into those.
I never got into it either. But that's one that a lot of people throw out there as like number 4.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If I had to do my personal top 4, it would be the first 3, and I'd probably throw Chucky up there because I love Chucky. I think he's.
And I would probably do the first 3, and honestly probably do Leatherface.
Do you see the new Leatherface that was on Netflix?
I don't think did that come out recently? Or?
Yeah, in like the last year.
No, the last one I saw was one that was in the theaters I don't know, maybe it's like 7 years ago or so.
Yeah, that's also just a hot garbage piece of crap of a movie.
Yeah.
That's and it's movies like that make me pull Leatherface down. When if you try and watch Texas Chainsaw 3.
Dude, the remake with the first one with Jessica Biel.
That was awesome. That's a good movie.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like that one better than
But then you watch the one, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 with Matthew McConaughey, one of the first movies he ever did. Yeah, Matthew McConaughey is part of the Sawyer family, in case you didn't know that one. And it is an absolute garbage of a movie. Super weird.
You know another one that I really love? I don't think he'd ever make the Mount Rushmore, but The Leprechaun. I think he would be.
Yeah, that dude's fire.
Yeah, I think
Dude, he went to the hood. He went to space. That dude's been everywhere.
Yeah, he's been everywhere. I think, honestly, you can make a case for him number 4.
Yeah, I won't put him above Chucky, but he's cool, though. I mean, freaking Jennifer Aniston, one of the first movies she ever did. Woo. And then you got, I don't know what the guy's name is, but I just know him as Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He was in the first, got his ear ripped off, poor bugger.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, no, you got me off topic, but that's a good off topic. I love talking about scary movies. So yeah, we got Chucky, really the OG. Then you kind of throw Annabelle in the Conjuring universe, which we went over her. I won't really dive too much into her. If you're going to watch any of the Annabelle movies, I would suggest you watch the second one, Annabelle Origin. The first one is just hot crap. The second one, Origin, is actually really fun and scary. That's a really good movie. The third one is Annabelle.
They made 3?
Yeah, I think Annabelle Creation. Oh. And the third one's really weird. It takes place in the Warrens' house. And it's not a bad movie. It's fun. It's not great, but it's fun. I like the third one. Me and my wife both enjoyed it, but I would not consider it a great movie. So we dive into number 3 on the pop culture list. We have Talking Tina, which this is the one I was talking about from the Twilight Zone the other day.
And I don't know that one.
Yeah, so it's the episode Living Doll from the Twilight Zone. Introduced Talking Tina, a seemingly innocent doll with a deadly intent, showing how even everyday dolls can become nightmarish. Then we have Billy the Puppet, which I kind of talked about a little bit ago from the Saw series. And he's not a killer, but he is the face of the killings, essentially.
Which movie was it that he came into the series?
Billy the Puppet?
Yeah.
Billy's been the whole thing.
Okay.
He's the one that rides out on the tricycle,
okay.
It's just it's just a mechanical
I couldn't
puppet.
Remember if he was
the white face with the red
Yeah.
circles. Yeah.
I don't know when so he's been in all of them.
Pretty sure he's been in all of them. I don't know if he was in
remember.
the first one or not.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Known for his eerie presence and sinister grin, Billy is used by the Jigsaw Killer to communicate with his victims in the Saw series. Although not technically haunted, Billy's appearance and association with deadly games make him a memorable, scary doll. And then number 5, It's our main man, Slappy.
Oh, there he is.
Slappy, a ventriloquist
Ooh.
dummy from the Goosebumps series by R.L. Stein, first appearing in Night of the Living Dummy. But he ain't no dummy. Slappy is known
And don't
for...
call him a dummy.
No, he does not like it. Slappy is known for coming to life and wreaking havoc, becoming the most popular characters in the series. Number 6 is The Dolls from the movie Dolls, 1987. I don't know if you ever saw that one. That is,
I don't know if I did.
I've watched a lot of really random scary movies, especially ones with dolls. Dolls in 1987. If you were like a huge horror movie buff, maybe you would look at this movie and just be like, yeah, whatever. This movie's super fun. It is like it's like perfect cheesy 80s horror movie. It's a good movie. I thought it's a lot of fun. Features a group of murderous dolls that come to life in an old mansion. The film plays on the fear of the inanimate object becoming malevolent, becoming evil. Malevolent. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's what I said, Corey.
You did.
Yeah,
There was a couple other like vowels and consonants thrown in there.
That's what I said the first time, if you were listening.
Okay.
So then, which is one of my personal favorites from when we were a kid, the Puppet Master series. This film series centers around a group of animated puppets, each with their own unique and deadly ability. So, I don't know if you ever saw them. You got the guy.
I've heard of it. I don't know if I've seen it.
One guy's got a hook hand. You got Pinhead, who's super strong. Then you got Six Shooter. He's a cowboy with 6 arms and guns.
You know, I don't know if you're going to go over to more here, but you know what one of my favorite ones from like growing up was?
Demonic toys. Demonic dolls.
No, it was Small Soldiers. I mean, I know that's not...
Yeah.
I mean, they're like figures, but they were
Oh, yeah.
alive. Like
when I watched that, so me and my mom watched that in theaters, and when I got home that night, she told me to go feed the dog, and I didn't feed the dog that night because I was afraid to stick my arm in the dog bag because I was afraid someone was going to get it. So I'm sorry, Bubba. R.I.P. There's another R.I.P. to my boy Bubba.
That's
but
three RIPs.
I'm sorry I didn't give you dinner that night, buddy. I was scared.
Oh, yeah, it's all right. I mean, even Toy Story. Look at Toy Story.
Yeah, Toy Story, yeah.
Like, what if... Okay, so Annabelle.
Yeah.
What if you put her in the Toy Story, like, world? How do you think that would go down? If she was one of Andy's toys.
Oh, I think Woody would not like that.
You don't think so?
No.
Or would he like that?
I don't know. Maybe. We don't really know what the intentions of the toy. Do you see there's a new Toy Story coming out?
Yeah, I
where
did.
Where they go up against, like, the iPad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's another bad... we went to see the original Toy Story in theaters. It was like the day after
I remember
Thanksgiving.
seeing the original one back in, when I was...
Yeah.
I feel like that's like one of the, like, I don't know, one of the first memories, but like I remember going to see that.
Yeah, that's one of the first
theaters.
movies I remember going. I also remember 101 Dalmatians, which I just hated, and I still hate that movie. My daughter started watching that. It's like, this movie's just boring as hell.
The boys like that movie too, and it is boring,
man.
It is boring.
But yeah, I went to see Toy Story, and it was so busy in the theater that me and my mom sat in one spot. My poor dad had to just go sit by himself, because it was packed.
Yeah.
So you just had to sit whatever seats were available. Like they were seating people because it was so busy. So that's always my memory of like the first Toy Story movie. So I guess as we get out of this, I'll just kind of end it with this: that these dolls, whether possessed, cursed, or simply eerie, tap into a primal fear of the familiar turning sinister, making them enduring figures in the horror pop culture.
I was gonna say, have you ever seen the Spirit Halloween movie?
No, I saw they were making it. I never watched it.
Yeah, well, that was one that like my boys got into because they're huge into like Halloween, Spirit, all that stuff, and stop farting.
I can't help it.
You've been farting every time I talk.
My belly hurts.
I guess you got the freaking boo-boo bellies going on over there.
Bellies.
No, but Spirit Halloween movie. So it kind of reminds me, like I've been thinking about it since when we did the Robert the Doll, the Dolls 1 episode to this episode. Basically, in the beginning of the movie, there's this guy that dies, and he's like a very evil guy of this town. And anyway, it fast forwards like into the future, like I don't know how many years, but basically these kids, they go into the Spirit Halloween store, and they go in there and they stay in there like after the store closes and stuff. They kind of like they sneak themselves in there and they stay overnight. Basically, there's 3 kids, like I don't know how old they are, like 15 or so, and the spirit of this guy that died like I don't know however many years ago basically shows up at the Spirit Halloween store and he starts putting himself in some of the different like animatronics and stuff. So like I think about how in the first episode we talked about how a lot of times spirits, demons, whatever you want to say, take over these dolls because they're human-like. They have, the arms, the legs, and stuff. And that's kind of what they do in the Spirit Halloween movie. Like the spirit takes over these animatronics that have the arms and legs, and they're able to kind of, run around and chase these kids and all that stuff. So it's just interesting how these things take over, like human-like, toys or animatronics, props, whatever you want to say. It's just, it makes sense because then they can, manipulate them and use them to run around, to walk, to use arms, legs, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a little more familiar, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's a reason why a lot of those movies go to haunted dolls. I think it's because there is something to it.
Yeah.
Over the course of time. I definitely say when I kind of dove into everything, I am somebody that I am not a believer in ghosts and stuff like that. I think our opinion kind of differs a little bit on that in a way, which is cool, But I am definitely the skeptic when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I think when I kind of dive into some of the stuff, especially Robert the Doll, there's something there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with
do
that.
not think it's good, and I don't know if I would consider it a spirit as much as a demonic.
Yeah, I think our boy Robert is definitely demonic.
Along with Annabelle, if you can believe the things that
pork chop fingers
kind of said.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, with that, I think we're ready to dive into our folklore score. Yeah.
Oh,
that's right. So. Tune in a second. We're going to dive into this, and we'll bring it back here in a little bit then. All right, then, y'all. See you laters.
Crackheads, it is time for our folklore score.
That's so much energy.
It's all I have left.
Nothing a little bush latte can't bring back.
With the rest of my lollipop, mix it all together and make a nice little
What's
concoction.
wrong with you? Why do you do that?
Because I got more lollipop now.
Yeah, I guess. All right, what do you got? Because I got a 34.
I got a 39.
A 39.
Oh!
Hey, we got big scores busting out of here right now. Corey's got fingers going.
Oh,
does that take the lead?
That's a 73.
73.
Can you go ahead and check that?
Yeah, 73.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Which means we have a new world heavyweight champion. Which is kind of funny because it's definitely the smallest creatures we've done.
Yeah, the smallest, but the most throws the most punch. Or the biggest punch.
The biggest punch. So let's dive down our scores a little bit. For spookiness, I gave it a 10. Dude, dolls just creep me all the way out.
I gave it an 8, and the only reason I gave it an 8 was because we're still early on this podcast journey. So I don't know what else we're going to experience, but I know that dolls is high, so I gave it an 8.
Yeah, that's cool. What'd you give it for historical and cultural significance?
I gave it a 7, and the reason I gave it a 7 was, I mean, I know dolls have been around for a long time, but we've known about some of these haunted dolls since Robert the Doll and stuff since the early 1900s, which, I mean, that's over 100 years. Have there been other ones with, Native Americans, some of that stuff that maybe we will get into later? I don't know. So, I mean, I gave it a 7 because I know it's high.
Yeah, I actually only gave that one a 3 just because of the lack of history from the year 0 to 1918, I guess, you know. But yeah, I could see in those 100 years, there's a ton of history then after that.
Yeah.
So for believability, I gave it a 7.
I gave it a 7.
Yeah, I think there's enough, I guess, maybe evidence out there that it's something that...
Demons.
Yeah, you're freaking right. So what do you got for uniqueness?
Uniqueness, I gave it a 10. Because just thinking about the topics and stuff, I'm like, what else is it? Haunted, okay, like haunted bicycles, haunted motorcycles, haunted...
Yeah,
like,
you see that.
Like dolls, like,
yeah.
There's no, like, I don't know.
I gave it an 8, and I guess I probably could have scored it higher. I was just thinking that, like, pop culture has made it so significant that was the only reason I thought maybe not a 10, because it's just so well known that those things are freaking bull crap and we shouldn't be dealing with them.
Yeah.
And for threat level, I gave it a 6.
And I gave it a 7.
Yeah. I guess it depends on how we want to measure our threat, you know?
Which story you want to read into.
Yeah. But, is it like the threat that it's going to kill us or the threat that is just going to make our life miserable? Because it seems like that's like the common denominator between all of them is that they just really enjoy to make everybody's life totally miserable.
Yep.
So, yeah, with that, that's, what is it, 73. So that takes over the number 1 spot for us at 73. So that'll be a spine tingler right up there with the Kraken and Mothman. So yeah, we got Mothman at 71, Kraken 72, and Dolls is going to be 73.
Oh,
new number one.
We got a
new
new
number
champ.
1. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And this is what this was one that I thought this would score. I thought this would score pretty high when I was looking into it and when I wanted to do it. There's just so much going on there.
Yeah, it was a good topic. I liked it.
Yeah, so Corey, I guess we're gonna go to the Mirror World next week, huh?
The Mirror World?
The Mirror World.
Oh, yeah, we are going to the Mirror World, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking about a little Bloody Mary.
Yes. Oh, yes. We have like an hour and a half already recorded of Bloody Mary. It's going to be
or
awesome.
Mary Worth or whatever you want to say. Like, there's been many different versions of this urban legend.
Yeah, so if you get excited, you're going to dive into Bloody Mary. So I think it seems like for September, we pretty much have all our schedule is going to be figured out. The first week is going to be this week. Obviously, we're in September with Dolls Part 2. The third week is going to be Bloody Mary. And then the fourth week is going to be, should we tell them or no?
Go ahead.
Black-Eyed Children.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be. Corey has no idea. He's just here. He's here for the beer.
Here for the beer.
He's just staring at me, shaking his head.
And we're also going to be doing our first guest appearance on another podcast.
Oh yeah, we are. When is that?
September.
I think it might actually be the day this cast is coming out, or the day before this cast is coming out.
I can tell you. I think I got it in my calendar here. It's September. September 9th.
September 9th. So, yeah, it'll be the week after this episode drops. We are going to be on the NDT podcast.
Nonsense and Deep Thoughts.
Yeah, we're really excited. They're kind of a cool group of guys. If you guys want to go give them a check them out and listen. I think they're on Spotify, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And then they do a lot of Facebook Live stuff.
They do, yeah.
Stuff like that. But, yeah,
They're
cool group of guys.
Our guys.
Our guys have definitely been an encouragement to our cast, I would say. We've reached out to them a few times, and they have just given us nothing but, like, really awesome positive feedback and stuff like that. So we're excited to go on there. And, yeah. Corey, tell them about our socials.
You can find us on...
What's that laugh? It sound like Peter Griffin laughing.
You can find us. Go catch us on Facebook,
Facebook,
Twitter,
X,
Instagram.
I'll translate him. Instagram.
Threads.
Freds.
TikTok.
Tic Tac Patty Whack, baby. And the YouTube. Don't forget the YouTube.
Oh, yeah, the YouTube.
That does not perform for us at all.
I mean, honestly, like my favorite is Facebook and Instagram. TikTok's probably third, and then YouTube's just, thrown in the river.
Yeah, and as far as my favorite, Corey does all the social media stuff, so I really don't care.
Yeah.
I edit, he social medias, and it's a partnership made in heaven.
Sure is. Thread and needles.
Thread and needles. Oh man, I'm talking dirty. So that's I'm Crack Daddy Mike. I haven't got to say that. I haven't announced myself as being Crack Daddy Mike all night. I'm Crack Daddy Mike.
And I still haven't got mine figured out. So I'm still Butt Crack Corey, I guess.
Butt Crack? That's sticking. It is sticking. So Butt Crack Corey, Crack Daddy Mike. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. I'm going to finish this beer.
Well, all right then. See ya.
Bye.